Welcome back to No Bias Hoops. I'm going to be talking about one thing every Eastern Conference NBA team needs to fix. The Boston Celtics. Stay healthy. The Celtics have been a really good basketball team this year, but there's always someone on the injury report. If they want to win a championship this season, all they need to do is stay healthy. The 76ers. Trade for OG Anunoby. The 76ers have been good this year, but they need one more piece to put them over the top. That player is not Zach LaVine or Pascal Siakam. They need a 3-and-D wing like OG. They have the salary to trade for him, and they even have one of the Raptors picks that the Raptors would love to get back, as well as valuable Clippers pick. The Magic. Score some points. The Magic are currently 5th in the Eastern Conference, a huge leap from where many thought they would be, and it's because of their defense. However, they are below teams like the Jazz, the Wizards, the Raptors, and the Hawks in offense, only scoring 112 points per game. To put that into perspective, the Indiana Pacers are scoring 126 points per game. The Knicks. They need to get a better center. Mitchell Robinson has been injured a lot this season, and when he is on the floor, he's a great defensive threat and a good rebounder, but he doesn't score much and he's not very athletic. He's making around $15 million this season, and throw him and Evan Fournier in a trade with some draft picks, you can get a player like Clint Capella, or probably better, who scores and rebounds and defends. I'm sure the Hawks would love to move Capella and get some draft capital. The Nets. Move Ben Simmons. Ultimately, Ben Simmons needs to get dumped to a team like the Wizards or the Pistons. I don't see any way that the Nets can really contend with that huge salary on their roster. If they can get rid of him for less than 2 first-round picks, they should jump at the opportunity. The Hawks. They need to make a big roster move. The Hawks will never be a top 4 team in the East with the current roster they have constructed. They need to make a big trade and give Trae Young one final opportunity to win in the playoffs. If it doesn't work, though, they're going to have to blow it up. The Hornets. Just trade for more draft capital. The Hornets are starting to build a solid foundation with LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, and Mark Williams. They need to keep developing those guys and add one more good piece to that team. The Pistons. They just need to add some vets. The Pistons are terrible. They need to move on from everyone except for Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, and Jalen Duren, Asar Thompson, and Marcus Sasser. Those 5 players are pretty solid, but everyone else doesn't matter. I'm sorry. This team needs to add some vets, get somewhat of a winning tradition, just to end the 27-game losing streak, and then maybe they can win at least a couple basketball games. If they don't want to be the worst team of all time, they need to add a vet, they need to change the sense in the locker room, and they seriously need to draft a very good player. The Bucks. Just keep gelling. The Bucks currently sit at number 2 in the East, pretty good. They're really good, but they're just not great yet. They need to keep gelling so that Giannis, Chris Middleton, and Dame can all play well at the same time. They'll get a random 64 from Giannis, 20 from Dame, and nothing from Chris Middleton. Then 40 from Dame, 30 from Giannis, which is good. Nothing from Chris Middleton. They need a consistent 25 from those guys, and that'll be a championship team. If you can get 75 to 80 a night from all 3 of those players, just with the other guys on your roster, you're gonna win a ton of games. The Heat. They're like the Sixers. They just need to add one more piece. They're a really good team, but they need one more piece to get them to contenders. The only thing is that the Heat have a much bigger sense of urgency. Jimmy Butler is getting older. After all the trade rumors, I don't know how much Tyler Hero wants to be there. They have to pick the right player because time is running out. But they're not like the Sixers. They don't have the draft capital. They do have a little bit of draft capital, but how much are you willing to risk? I mean, the Heat really need to make one more move before I can actually consider them contenders. Sure, I bet they can make the conference finals, but they're not a championship team. They just aren't. The Cavaliers. They just need to figure things out. the Cavs are not amazing this season. They're like below 500 when I'm filming this video. They are in a rough position, though, because Darius Garland is bad injured with a broken jaw. It's hard to be a good basketball team when your all-star point guard is injured. Once he comes back, they just need to figure things out, and if it's not going to work, I could see a Jarrett Allen trade to get a small forward, move Evan Mobley over. I could see Karis LeVert, Isaac Okoro trade. Like, they need to figure something out. The Pacers, if they bring back the in-season tournament energy, they can be number 2 in the East, at least. I'm sorry. The Pacers were elite before and during the in-season tournament, but then they went on a big losing streak. They still have the number 1 offense in the NBA, but the defense isn't as good. They just need to turn up the energy, play aggressive, win some games. The Bulls, trade Vucevic. The Bulls ultimately need to blow it up. Everyone should be on the trade block at the deadline, but Vucevic needs to be traded as soon as possible. The hard truth is that the Bulls are just better without Vooch. Like, he gets injured, Drummond drops 20 rebounds, 20 points. Like, he looks like an old self. At best, they could maybe get a protected first-round pick. I don't think the Raptors should do this at all because they also need to blow it up. But I could maybe see if the Raptors risk it all. Gary Trent Jr., Christian Koloko, and a second-round pick for Nikola Vucevic. The Raptors, trade Pascal Siakam. The Raptors also need to blow it up and build around Scotty Barnes. Their blow-up will be a lot easier because they have a player like Scotty Barnes. Trade Pascal for 2 to 3 first-round picks, maybe more. I doubt it, though. I could also see them moving OG for 2 to 3 first-round picks, but at the same time, they might want to keep him around because Scotty Barnes and OG could be a very good roster if they add some more pieces. But still, if the Sixers are willing to give you your own pick, a valuable Clippers pick, an expiring contract, I don't know if they should say no to that. The Raptors have a tough decision to make, but if they don't blow it up, their rebuild is going to be a ton harder because Pascal Siakam is just going to get worse, and then you're not going to be able to trade him as much. And then finally, the Washington Wizards. They just need to be patient. They're still in the early stages of their rebuild. They just need to draft someone and trade players like Kyle Kuzma for a first or two, and try to keep somewhat of a winning tradition, unlike the Pistons. They haven't had the best drafts in a while. If I was them, I would be spending more money on my scouts than my head coach. I think if they can draft the right player, then all they need is one. They need one good player, and Deni Avdija, throw some other guys. Bilal Coulibaly has been good. Jordan Poole, we don't really know. But, the Wizards just need to be patient and draft. That's it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and see you next time on No Bias Hoops.